Hi everyone, a truly unique location for a wedding. Jewish music giant composer Yossi Green and the International Jewish Bloggers Conference, Israeli Salad, will begin in just a moment. Shalom and welcome to Israeli Salad. Our sages say that every single Jewish wedding is considered as another brick laid in the rebuilding of the Holy Temple. The wedding we will now join fits this perfectly, as it took place at a location that today symbolizes destruction, but also symbolizes the will to rebuild and return to the land.
We are here again in Chomesh, this time to celebrate the marriage of two of the devoted activists for Chomesh.
The atmosphere in Chomesh was exceptionally emotional and full of joy. The political issue and the joy of creating a new Jewish home were mixed together.
Boi chala, boi chala, boi chala.
Exactly on the third anniversary of the expulsion from Chomesh, members of the Shomron Council gathered to mark this tragic day and raise a former resident of Chomesh to the council. The goal is to register Chomesh as an active settlement in the Shomron Council.
אני שמח לראות אתכם, חבר'ה. אני מתרגש פה כמו אני לא יודע מה.
I am very excited. I hope this wedding will be the beginning. If there's one thing I pray, it's this. I want God to make this young couple my neighbors.
תן לזוג הצעיר הזה שיהיו השכנים שלי פה בחומש.
Yossi Dagan, a member of the Chomesh First organization and of the Shomron Regional Council, is excited on this special day.
If you would have told me 3 years ago, when we were together on the roof of Sar Noor, being dragged away by police, right now at 5 p.m. I would be here, I would send you to the asylum. But here, after a year and a half of a struggle, when the public decided we need to rebuild Chomesh and Sanur, when you want to win, you can.
Meanwhile, the army is a bit confused. They don't know who to give permission to and who not. Some of the buses of the guests were stopped and delayed by the soldiers.
The army stopped us and asked us, "Where are you going to? We don't have permission. They haven't grown up yet."
The guests arrived and there was a spiritually uplifting feeling. On one side, the preparations for the wedding, and on the other side, hugs and tears.
We shall come back and build our houses. You'll see. This is a big step for the Jewish nation, returning to our land, returning to the places we were expelled from. People who know Shunamit and Esaf know they are not a private couple. Shunamit fought for the land of Israel. She tied her destiny to the expelled people of Chomesh. We as a family participated in the struggle, even the small baby. We ascended to Chomesh during the summer and winter, in the heat and the cold. When the people of Gush Katif were expelled, we felt expelled as well.
The defense minister did not approve the wedding at first. Only after pressure from MKs, we received approval a day before the wedding. 9 buses came to Chomesh at last. Shunamit Kirshenbaum, the bride from Chashmonaim, prays at one of the demolished houses. The groom, Asaf Moshe Volberg from Bnei Brak, is with his friends. The media is surprised to hear about the vow of silence by the groom. The bride's brother speaks about his sister and explains why they chose Chomesh.
For the first time, I am really excited to hear that Shunamit is in Chomesh, because we have gotten used to it already. I'm excited.
almost sunset and the ceremony has begun. The groom covers the bride.
Baruch atah Adonai מקדש עמו ישראל על ידי חופה וקידושים.
Before breaking the glass, the groom mentions the communities of Gush Katif and North Shomron, prays for Jerusalem and the rebuilding of the Holy Temple. Our new couple hopes to come back to a rebuilt town in Chomesh. The bride says that this wedding is the right answer.
נחמה, נחמה, שמחה גדולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה.
Israeli Salad on Facebook. The online Jewish video revolution is now on the social network. Join the INN TV Israeli Salad group and program host Yoni Kempinski on Facebook.com.
How many of you are familiar with Yossi Green? Well, many of you probably don't know that they are familiar with him. Green is a renowned composer of Jewish music. His works include some of the greatest hits and classics in Jewish music history. He has composed close to 500 songs, stretching over 120 albums. Among the famous songs are hits like Tanya and Adirabe. I met Yossi during his visit to Israel.
To me, a song written by a Jew is a Jewish song. That's what makes a song Jewish. I don't believe that there's a certain succession of melodies, one before the other, which God prefers. The C before the E or certain rhythms, because you hit the drum in a certain beat faster, you speed up or whatever. That's more Kodesh or more less Kodesh. I think that's what makes a song Jewish is if it's written by a Jew. What makes it Hasidish is if it's written by a Chassid. And I guess what makes it Yeshivish is if it's written by a Yeshivish person.
Through his new album, Jewish music composer Yossi Green is trying to connect to the younger audience, people who aren't as familiar with his old-time classics.
Okay, the new album is a totally different parsha. What happened is over the years, I've been watching music lately, sort of becoming a little bit stale. And the ones that are listening, it's very interesting. Music is all about audiences, different markets, different audiences. Now there are certain people that are my age who grew up with me. I mean, they love what I write, and they love the artists that I wrote for. The problem is that there are new people. You know, so there are young people growing up, and we take it. I realized that we take it for granted that because we loved these singers as we were growing up, and then you take a young kid and a 15-year-old and you tell him, isn't Start Noim fantastic? And he says, what is Start? What are you talking about? What is this? It's a song that's 10 minutes long. It's some obscure lyric that nobody has heard and I'll never hear, and I'm not interested. Do me a favor. I'll listen to what you call alternative. And I saw that we're losing the audience. So what I did was I went back to try to recreate music more simple, more special, and the message with simpler messages, and more today, more with music that reflects the moods of today. And I had a brain trust of young people with me. I had who, if they didn't like a song that I wrote, I sold it to somebody else. So actually, I went according to try to write music for people of today.
Now let's go back to the classics. First song composed by Yossi Green, Kol Barama.
The music started actually in Yeshiva in England. I loved music all my life, like everybody else does, but apparently I had I was a little more connected to music than I thought. And I wrote my first song in London, which was recorded by Yigal Salik at the time. In Pirchei Yerushalayim and in New York, so it was called Kol Barama. In the beginning, I definitely didn't know. You know, it was a pure fluke. It was a Yigal Tzaddik had signed a contract with Nagina in New York to do 4 concerts on Hanukkah, and they told him on the condition that he has new material. And he came back home to London, and we were good friends. And I saw that he was very down. I said, "What's going on?" He says, "Well, I just signed this contract. I have to come up with new material, and I don't have any new material." And he said to me, "Yossi, you're a good friend of mine. If you would be a composer," as a joke, he said, "it would be to solve all my problems." So, did you ever write any music? And I said, "No. I mean, at that time, I played piano with one finger." And I said, "But over here, in the last couple of weeks, I've been fooling around with a melody. Show me." So I showed him this melody, and he jumped to the piano, grabbed the Chumash, Parshat Vaychi, and found where it says Kol Barama Nishma, and I couldn't believe it. To me, I thought it was like a big joke. He was very dramatic.
After years of composing, it's finally time for Yossi to get in front of the microphone and sing.
My singing is I'm not a singer. There's no question about it. But the fact is that I know how to sing. So it's very interesting. You could know how to sing without being a singer. It's fascinating, as there are people who are voice teachers. Some people that are voice teachers, they can't sing to save their lives, but they're great voice teachers. The question is, how are you going to teach me how to sing if you can't sing? So obviously it's separate. Every once in a while, I'll sing. Now, solo, so much I didn't sing, but this album I had to do it because this is really my expression. It's my expression but the objective wasn't for me to become a singing sensation. That wasn't the idea. The idea was for me to be able to put out my music the way I like it.
So how does it work? How does Yossi Green create a variety of songs for a variety of singers and musicians?
David HaMelech had sometimes Mizmor Shir, sometimes Shir Mizmor, right? So the question is what's Mizmor Shir? So the Radak explains that Mizmor being music, the melody, and Shir being the lyric. So sometimes he had the melody first, sometimes the lyric first. The person singing, if he's very deep, if he understands what he talks about when he prays, I usually would like to ask him as to what kind of lyric he is impressed with. So what do you, like for instance, I was with a singer a little while ago, and in Shmon Esra, in the Amidah, there's a Modim. In Modim, there's Noda Lecha Unesaper Tilatecha. And he explains to me that this is a young man who became very successful, and he finally understood that the bracha of Modim is a bracha of thank you. And so I looked at him and said, "This is interesting. A young man, and he understands that Modim is an inyan of thanking God for various things." And he really understood it. And I sat down and I was able to write him a song for Noda Lecha Unesaper Tilatecha. But he inspired me because I said to myself, here's a young man who understands that lyric, and I connected very well with him. Many times a singer will come and we'll sit together, and when I ask him that question, he just looks at me. And he has no answer, and then I have to somehow look inside myself and try to find the melody from which direction. I've been in every direction on the piano. I don't know exactly where to go. You need a little bit of you need to thin out the direction that you're going into.
We'll have some more music from Yossi Green at the end of our program.
Please send your comments, ideas, and questions to the Israeli Salad email, yoni@israelnn.com. Or leave a message on the Israeli Salad voicemail at international dialing code 972-3918-5554. That's 972-3918-5554.
The first International Jewish Bloggers Convention took place in Jerusalem. Hundreds of Jewish bloggers participated in the conference entitled "The Power of the J-Blogsphere, Taking J-Blogging to the Next Level."
Because there are people speaking on these panels, there are people all over the place, famous bloggers, different people. Everywhere I go, I look at the little tags and I see really well-known names, and I think you guys are great.
These sort of face-to-face network events are really an extension of the community building that's going on the Web 2.0 world, and things that we should be doing more often.
Lots of friends, online friends from Jewish blogs throughout the web, finally met in person at the first International Jewish Bloggers Conference.
I found the number of people, the different types and kinds of people to be here, and the different kinds of people who are blogging and the different subjects that they're blogging on to be absolutely fascinating.
The half-day conference featured 2 panel discussions with popular Jewish bloggers and a speech by Zavi Applebaum, Director of Brand Management in the Foreign Ministry.
You put one thing next to another, fusion is the new thing that comes from it. It's the meeting place of 3 continents. It's multiculturalism. It's snow, it's sand, it's sea, it's sushi falafel. It has a creativity and openness to new things. It also has concepts of democracy and openness. Remember the guy who thought he wouldn't be allowed here because of skin color? It's a very important message. It's something that Israeli still represents them a lot. Yihudim u'Nifradim.
We are a Jewish state. We are a Jewish state, not a multi-religional state.
But it's certainly a state that's open to multiculturalism.
Get that through their heads in the foreign ministry. We are a Jewish state. Period.
People get a negative impression of what Israel is because they get the news. And the news is about warfare, politics, and all the dirty things that come up from underneath. Really the dreck of society is what news media is about. Blogging is not about that. Blogging is not about that. Blogging is about real life.
The Hasbara message is one that I often come across needing to know more about because so many American Jews, especially non-Jews approaching Judaism for the first time, as many of our readers do, don't really know very much about Judaism.
Nefesh B'Nefesh organized the event and invited all official bloggers to join the conference.
We're trying to impact the startup communities, and this is a very important event for the worldwide blogging community.
The organizers explained that Jewish blogging is an important part in the social scene of the youth of North America, and most of the participants of the event were from the US, Canada, and Israel.
I enjoyed tonight. Tonight was interesting. I didn't know really what to expect. I didn't know how technical it would be.
I loved it. It re-energized me. Now I'm going to get back to blogging.
Mostly just got to see people. Mostly got to hang out with a lot of bloggers who I knew and who I didn't know, who I'd read a little bit, never read before. Mostly just a sense of community and a sense of people interested in both playing with technology and getting their voice out in all different kinds of ways for different ideas, for different things, and it was pretty sweet.
Okay, that's all for this week's Israeli Salad. We'll be back next week with more good stuff from our homeland. Join us again then. Until then, from all of us here at Arutz Sheva, INN TV, Shalom.